Hey guys, time for another episode of the 74 TR6 on the Rusty Beauties channel, and we're gonna keep going here. Last episode we did all the brakes and fuel lines, so that part of the frame is completed, and the engine is over there. As you may know, this is the engine that we picked up from Paul Martin, who turned his TR6 into an electric car. Many people disagree with that. I like the idea, but that's another subject. Anyway, so this is his engine, and I've seen the engine running in video. I haven't seen it in person when it was running, but it was running pretty well. So I don't know how deep I'm gonna go with restoring this engine. If it was my personal project, I would take it apart completely and see if it needs any machining and oversized bearing and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's not my car, and I'm gonna put it on the stand and we're gonna see how far we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna talk to my boss, whose car that is, and we're gonna decide how far we wanna go with it. Anyways, first off, let's put it on the stand. So we're gonna strip it as much as we can, or as little as we can maybe, so we can clean it. And as we're stripping it, we're gonna be inspecting parts and see if anything needs anything. So there's no internals here of the distributor, so I'm assuming there was electronic ignition installed that was pulled off, probably. Alright, so the head is off, and I was looking here at the top of the pistons to see if they're oversized or anything, but as far as I can see, the only thing here I can see on the piston is S, and this I'm not really sure if it says B17 or B11. I don't know. I'm gonna take a picture of that and zoom it in and see. But yeah, lots of carbon built. Anyways, and yeah, we're gonna keep stripping it, but she is already pretty much stripped. Alright, so the front cover is removed and the chain is pretty loose. That definitely needs to be replaced together with the gears, of course. And now I was removing the bolts on the oil pan, and I noticed something weird, that all the bolts were 1/2 inch as usual, 1/2 inch head, and only the 2 bolts on the ceiling block and this one were 9/16, and with this head, which was like really unusual. So when I took them out, I figured out why. So this is what was holding the rear of the oil pan. That explains a lot why it was leaking oil from here. So for two of them, we have a solution. We're gonna change the sealing block anyway, and only here now we're gonna have to see what we're gonna do. I hope we have the possibility here to re-drill and use a bigger thread, but just a regular thread. Anyways, we're gonna see what we're gonna do here, but just wanted to show you what bolts they used. That's weird. All right, so let's see what's inside, because I'm getting really suspicious about this engine now. Let's see what's inside. There's a crankshaft. Wow. So yeah, definitely this is a through hole, so we can definitely drill this bigger and tap our own thread here, and we're gonna have to put a bigger bolt there. Nothing suspicious, everything seems fine. Now, I don't have my measuring tools here at the shop, I have to bring them from home, but I'm just gonna visually check. Ooh. It has some thrust washer issues, I guess. That's like a 20 thou end play. That looks like a new oil pump. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. This is the rear end of the engine. So this is not the sealing block. This is the rear seal housing. So it's the same thing. It's aluminum and it's been stripped. The threads have been stripped. So anyways, we will see if we can buy one, or we can use the other one from the other engine maybe. I don't know, we will see. One thing I noticed here, so you see these numbers here? Normally your numbers for the cups are punched here on the side. And let me wipe it a little bit. So, oh, this one is the other way around. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you see how the numbers are punched in a direction. So this is number 2, and cup number 2 should have the same number here, and it has it in the same orientation. What I noticed here though, number 3, you have to come this way and read it, which is hard to read, but this is the number 3 here, and since the orientation is different than number 2, I thought that maybe the cup was installed wrong way, but actually when I come here, this number is also in the same orientation. Number 3 is different than number 2. So if we read number 2 this way, we read number 2 the same way here. And when we read number 3 here, we read the same way number 3 here. So that makes sense. And number 4 is totally different orientation too. So 4, 4. I'm guessing that's done on purpose, so you don't mix the cups, the orientation of the cups. So I always check that when I take apart engines. I check how they are installed based on these numbers. Normally they're all in the same orientation here and the same orientation there. On this engine they're different, but as long as we match the same orientation for this number and the number on the cup, we should be fine. So she's all stripped, all the parts are on the table. We still need to take the valves out from the head, but I mean the engine is stripped, and let's see what we find here. So there's no real ridge here. There's some weird markings on the cylinders, on the cylinder walls. Like I can see them, but I can't really feel anything. Like this line here, I can't feel it. So I'm not really sure what that is. Why is this discoloration? But I think with a little bit of honing, we can bring them back to life as long as they are the correct size. They don't look too bad. There's no bad scoring or anything. Just this discoloration here and there, like here too. I don't know what that is, but like I said, as long as they're the correct size. Well, this one is bad, but again, like nothing that I can feel with my finger. So anyways, we're gonna bring our precision measuring tools tomorrow from home, and we're gonna measure all cylinders, and as far as they are not out of round or tapered or overworn, which I don't think they are, we might get away with just honing and installing new rings, and that's gonna be it. But again, that's just my hope. So here, the connecting rods and the pistons, everything looks okay. I mean, there's no chips or anything on the pistons. They look okay, except for the carbon build at the top, but everything else looks okay. No cracks, no seized rings. All of them are in a good shape. So again, hopefully we only need rings for here, and that's it. The rod bearings don't look too bad. So I'm hoping again that we just need new bearings, and that's gonna be it. They are standard size. At least I don't see anything on the back saying that they're oversized though, so I think these are, looks like everything is original. Somebody's been inside this engine, but I think they changed the oil pump. That's what it looked like to me, nothing else. Looks like these are the original pistons with original bearings and everything from the factory. So then here, the crankshaft, all the pins look great, absolutely no scoring or anything, and they are nice and smooth. The journals though, they are scored. I mean, they're not scored, but I can feel with my finger, not the ones in the middle. These two are actually good, but the first journal and the last, the fourth journal, I can feel them with my finger, unfortunately. Again, it's not too rough or anything. It's just that I feel the waviness where the bearings were riding. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna need to be reground to the next size, which is probably gonna be 10 over. And this is what the bearings look like. Even these are worn. The ones in the middle show some wear marks. Not too bad, but again, I wouldn't assemble it just like that. This needs to be reground. But the good news is that we have on the shelf our other crankshaft from that engine, which is in a good shape. I measured that before. I have my charts in my computer, and I know for sure that that crankshaft is good for standard bearings actually. So we might go with that one. The camshaft I didn't look at carefully, so the lobes look okay. Nothing is worn, nothing beat up. Yeah, they all look good, so camshaft wise we are okay. The head, like I said, we need to flip it, and we need to take out the valves and check the seats and everything. So that's our next project. Everything else here is hardware that we need to clean. This sleeve doesn't look too bad, but of course we're gonna order a new one. That's important for our oil leaks. Here too, this is where the rear seal was riding, so I'm not surprised that there was an oil leak in the back of this engine, because this is really bad. I don't understand, is that paint or what is it? And that's it. We're gonna check the push rods. Our tappets don't look too bad, so I don't think we're gonna need new tappets. Again, I'm gonna inspect them and we'll see. They're cheap. If we need to replace them, we're gonna replace them. Clutch, I believe we have a new clutch somewhere. I haven't checked the plate yet, but again, that's gonna be something else. For now, we have to focus on the engine. So, okay, let me set up a little bit better here. I'm gonna bring the head on this side so we can pull out the valves and we're gonna inspect them. And we're gonna go from there. And the next step is measure everything and see what we need to order parts right away so we don't need to wait. And once everything is measured and parts are ordered, then I'm gonna start cleaning, degreasing, painting, chasing all the threads on the block, and then once the parts arrive, we're gonna start the assembling. So that's on the long run. For now, let's focus on our head. All right, so the head, I flipped it upside down just to do a quick inspection, just on like visual, if anything is seen wrong or not. But looks like everything is fine. The valves are sitting properly. Sometimes you could see them sunk very deep. This tells you that the head was reground and they've been relapped, and sometimes, you know, it's too deep and you can't even save the head. You have to install new seats and stuff like that. But here looks like everything is fine. Also, the head gasket, I looked quickly, doesn't seem to have had any problems. So yeah, I don't know, I don't recognize them, but I think this is an original gasket here that we have. Anyway, so I'm not even gonna bother filling it up with fuel and waiting for it to see if it's gonna soak or not. I'm just gonna take the valves out, we're gonna clean them, and we're gonna clean here the combustion chambers, and we're gonna decide how we're gonna proceed here based on the results that we have after we clean it. All right, so to remove the valves, I use this homemade valve remover. This is basically a long reach clamp with I believe this is just a lock washer, huge lock washer that I welded there. And now I use this piece of wood underneath to support the two valves, and also the two won't scratch the surfaces there on the combustion chamber. And then I just clamp it just like that. And now I can remove the keepers. Okay, I need something. Magnet works fantastic. So let's get a little tray. Okay, and now when you let go, you have to be careful so the spring doesn't fly. And that's it. Ooh, we have rubber seals here actually. Somebody's done some work on this. These are aftermarket seals that people sometimes install there. I will remove them, and I'm not sure if we're gonna put them back on because this head is not designed for valve seals. And the problem is that there's absolutely no lubrication between the valve stems and the valve guides. when you install seals. So I don't know if that's a good idea. We will decide about that. I'm just gonna remove them now. This is what they are. Just a rubber cap going over the valve guide. I don't know. We will decide what to do with them. Looks like this head has been redone, so that's a good thing. But again, if it is the same person who put the wood bolts, then I don't know. But they don't look great for a rebuilt head. They don't look great. I mean, look, this one had only at the edge, it was closing. This one has a little bit more of a surface, but yeah, we're gonna have to relap them, definitely. All right, let's start cleaning them. So we're gonna use this wire wheel, which is a brass wire wheel. So not steel, because steel might scratch them badly. We're gonna use a little bit of masking tape. So we don't damage the valve too. And then we're gonna chuck it in our drill. And oops, sorry. And let's see now. So that's your before, and let's do the after. And that's the after. It actually doesn't look good at all. Wow. We might need new exhaust valves. Yeah, I don't like this. It's pitted. Anyways, so that's it. That's the process. I'm gonna go through all of them now. We'll clean them, but let's do the second one, which is our intake. So hopefully at least the intake is good. Yeah, the intake looks okay. The intake valves can be reused, but the exhaust probably we're gonna need all of them new. Anyways, let's clean them all, and then we're gonna be able to say more about it. I was hoping to use it again. Anyways, okay, so like I showed you, the intake valves don't look too bad. That's another intake. And another intake. So the intakes look pretty good, but the exhaust though, this one is speeded. This one is speeded as well. That's third. I don't know, they're not way too bad, but they are not way too good as well. So I'd rather, I don't know, we might try to put lapping compound and see what's gonna happen with the exhaust. This one is pretty bad. That's number 5. And that's number 6. We might try them and we will see what's gonna happen. Number 4, the intake and the exhaust were really built up with carbon, like everywhere. They cleaned up nicely, but I wonder why only on this one they were so bad. But anyways, so all the valves are clean. Let's clean our head now, and once the head is clean, we're gonna try and lap them. We just want to clean the combustion chambers. And how do I do that with WD-40 and Scotch-Brite. All right, it's the day after, and I've done some cleaning here, and it is weird how some of the combustion chambers are a little bit better than others. Like this one is really pitted here, and even the surface here, you see there's this big dent, which I think it is from the casting from the very beginning. That's factory, but I don't think it's affecting anything because it's on this area of the gasket where it leads to nowhere. If it was between here, or if it was between here and here, I would be concerned. Here it's not a big deal, I guess. So as you can see, I've cleaned the entire head. Oh, oops, I haven't. Oh my god, I need a lot more work. So it takes a while. This gasket is like, I don't know what they've used, but they used something really strong, and it just chips off, so it's taking forever. I'm wire wheeling it with brass wire wheel, like I said, and then with WD-40 and Scotch-Brite. I'm rubbing inside and it cleans it up. It's just slow. I'm gonna use this wire wheel for the outside so I can clean everywhere here. And yeah, I brought my tools today, measuring tools, so we can start measuring the engine later. We can start lapping valves and stuff like that. So it's gonna be fun. I like this kind of work. It just takes forever to clean, but patience, that's what we need. All right, a few hours later, and finally I think I'm done with the cleaning. Like, that's how far I can go. And to be honest, the valve seats don't look too bad. So I'm hoping that we can bring them back to life. Like this one is a little, or that's carbon. That's just carbon, I think, because that's the intake. Normally the exhaust is the one that suffers more. But yeah, you can see here I don't think they were lapped properly ever. So anyways, I'm pretty sure that the intakes are gonna come back to normal. Not sure about the exhaust, but we're gonna try. Well, I think I'm gonna cut this video here, guys, because we're already at the half an hour mark, and I don't want to take too much time from your time. But yeah, we're gonna come back, and in the next episode we're gonna try to lap the valves, we're gonna measure cylinders and stuff like that. It's all fun, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.